From infinite orbs to secret buffs, here are 10 and 8/9 things in Destiny 2 that you might not know. There is an infinite super combo currently available in Destiny 2, and it is horrifying. If you are a subscriber of this channel, you know that I tend to move through topics on this series rather quickly, but this one deserves some special appreciation. Using the Speaker Sight Warlock Helmet and any weapon that can cause damage to the wielder, including ricochet rounds, you can continuously generate orbs of power for you and your team, just by simply healing targets with anything you have. Namely, the thing that we mostly used was the namesake healing turrets. This is absolutely game-breaking. Expect this to get patched the moment Bungie catches wind of this, as they should. You can keep your grenade looping for very little by just simply running the Ember of Benevolence, and for me, I tried this with grenade kickstart mods, but found it completely unnecessary. If you really want to lean in on this absurd setup, I recommend 2 Guardians running this, each with the Touch of Malice and the helmet as mentioned, and 1 Hunter running the Star Eater's Scales with their kit fully dedicated to orb perks such as surges and fonts. For more details on this build for this setup, check the Mobalytics link in the description. Also, subscribe, as just under half of you aren't subbed, and I will be giving away a Chipotle gift card to a random subscriber. I would love to keep theory crafting this with you all, but we have even more silly stuff to cover. Thruster is an incredibly underwhelming class ability option compared to the more standard Barricade, but if you haven't tried this out yet with the Dreknir slash aspect on Prismatic Titan, you may want to. Because the Thruster doesn't place a barricade, which is normally this aspect's trigger, instead the Dreknirs will summon a Strand Suspension Bomb, which will hit all targets surrounding your current position. If you're going for a suspend heavy build, this is an incredibly useful trick, as the Thruster obviously comes back a bit faster than the Towering Barricade. On that same note, Arbor Warden is a very strange exotic and often too niche for most use cases, but using that last trick we just learned, we can actually use this to give ourselves a far more consistent and reliable and generally more powerful suspend grenade. It's pretty odd that throwing a movement ability results in a regularly sized wall of protection, but I'm not complaining because this grenade not only regenerates faster than the Shackle grenade, but it is far more user-friendly and, like mentioned, powerful. Bungie got rid of legendary shards with the Final Shape update. Or did they? While vendors will no longer accept your shards, you actually still have them secretly stored in I don't want to know where. The easiest way to see this is to open up any of your item management apps that display the currency info, and you will see that this info is still registered to your Guardian. In our last Things You Don't Know, we covered a funny interaction with Grapple that was powerful but a bit hard to pull off. This time, we have something arguably more powerful and even easier to pull off. Ascension will carry whatever your current momentum is, however far it'll allow you to go. So on Prismatic Hunter, try activating your grapple to get your momentum going quickly in the direction you want, and then at any point during that grapple, cancel it with the Ascension aspect's input to fling yourself clear across the map. The best part is that this, unlike Shatterskate, does not require you to be standing on solid ground to work. This can be pulled off at any point, so long as you have enough space for it. I can't recommend this enough for no other reason than the sake that it's just so much fun to do. Like, this is so much speed. So when Bungie does end up patching the infinite healing and orb generation from the Speaker Sight, there is one other way of generating a lot of orbs. Most players have acquired the new healing auto frame, and I am willing to bet most of you did not look for the attrition orb perk. But it turns out you maybe should have. Just like how regular damage can trigger the orb generating perks, negative damage like healing an ally will also work. Strangely, unlike the Speaker Sight, this will not trigger on self-damage such as the Tommy's Matchbook or the Touch of Malice, and requires an enemy to damage you or your ally, or you can have that targeted ally damage themselves with a more unconventional way, such as through ricochet rounds. This feels like bug territory, but this one feels a lot more balanced in that infinite orb generation earlier. This one is for all my longtime Destiny vets out there. We have been conditioned, programmed even, that the only way to get near or on light items was to get them from vendors, and particularly their engram drops, prompting us to stockpile engrams from Shaxx and Zavala just in case. Well, you need not put that much effort into it since this last patch. With the final shape, all static rolls you pull from collections will be just below your current light level, allowing you to remain mostly competitive with any gear for a small amount of glimmer in an upgrade module, as you can simply pull rare gear from the leveling section of weapons and armors respectively. If you're just getting back into the game, this can be a great way to get your average light up to increase your powerful engram's power level if you have, let's say, one item that hasn't quite received a replacement yet. Everyone knows hunters are strong right now, duh, but let's make them a little bit stronger. Using the Facet of Solitude, which causes a severing explosion on targets you damage with rapid precision hits, you can trigger your stylish execution, or realistically any debuff requiring perk or aspect for that matter, just by simply playing the game as normal. This, of course, is extremely valuable in PvE, as this allows you to get this perk off on almost every single enemy, but it still does work in PvP. You will just need a slightly beefier target than your average Guardian, because they'll typically die before you can actually get it to trigger. But even something as simple as a Warlock and a Healing Rift will get this to work, so long as you land your headshots. Lion Rampants received a stealth buff. The perk still reads the same, that it will allow you to have accurate hip fire while using your boost and boosting weapon airborne effectiveness, but Bungie gave it just a touch more in this patch. Titans can now fully ADS, fully aim down sights while boosting with this exotic, effectively making any setup with the Lion Rampants a faster and easier to work with version than the Warlock's version of Heat Rises. You will likely notice a lack of stickiness while shooting in the air, as you are still suffering from the airborne effectiveness penalties, but this will make for some incredibly spicy plays in PvP. You also can't boost while already aiming down the sights and shooting. You will need to start your boost at least from your hip before switching to ADS to deal your normal stuff. This one is a tad more silly, but any cutscene where your character appears in their full outfit and armor isn't some kind of pre-render. Oftentimes these take place in the world, which you can prove by doing something like throwing down a stasis crystal, which will show up in your cutscene. Useless, I know, but it can be funny. I have used the Warlock's exotic glaive a whopping 31 kills worth of times, and before realizing how terrible of a weapon this is, and then took it off and never put it on again. So take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. Using the Solar Warlock with the Touch of Flame aspect will boost this weapon's healing turret from Restoration X1 to Restoration X2. As far as I know, this is only available in this current patch and didn't work last patch. If somebody somehow used this weapon more than 31 kills worth of times, you can correct me if I'm wrong. This will even work if you don't have a healing grenade equipped, however. Not sure if this is going to change the usage of this weapon at all, but it's at least interesting, right? Subscribe and leave a comment if you want a chance at this free burrito. Bless your faces, and deuces.